I have the privilege of having a conversation here with Dan a little bit. He's going to share what God has done in his life and a little bit about who he is and his story. So, Dan, we have 5 minutes for everybody here to know you and your story intimately.
Okay.
Okay, let's do it. Dan, so let's start us off. Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I recently graduated from Penn College recently in May, and I am a pastry chef here in Williamsport.
Awesome. So your life has probably changed a lot in the last couple of years. So can you just tell all of us here a little bit about what your life was like a couple of years ago before you knew Jesus as you do right now?
Yeah. So I would say when I first started going to college, I wasn't really plugged into anything, to no church, any Christian kind of setting, anything on campus. And before that, I was raised in a Christian home, so going to church was a regular thing. But when I went to college, I just kind of completely disconnected myself from that for some reason. Yeah, that's pretty much about it. Yeah.
So then you said you were a little disconnected from your faith, from Christian community. What then happened for you to then prioritize your faith to make that more of an important part of your life and for you to further then put your hope and your trust in Jesus? So talk us a little bit through what happened.
Yeah, so it was my junior year, and my parents started going to this church, First Church, and so I came along with them on Sunday, and after service, this guy named Aaron came up to me, approached himself, and he's like, hey, so I lead this thing called The Harbor at Penn College, it's on-campus ministry that I didn't know anything about before, and so I started going and learned a lot real quick. Started with the book of James, learned that first thing, and that was huge. And then actually one of the first things I learned was that stuck with me was, no matter how messed up I might think I am, that God, still loves me even at my worst, no matter what, and His Spirit's always there alongside me to guide me. So that was one thing. And another thing was, so through the Harbor, we went to this thing called the Passion Conference. And what that is, if you don't know, it's the largest college conference for college students. It was held in Atlanta, Georgia. And so what that was about was uniting students for worship, prayer, and justice and social awakening. And I went in there. I wanted to learn, and I wanted to see how it would change me afterwards. And it definitely did. It was one of the best things that happened to me, I think, so far in my journey.
So you mentioned briefly how you kind of had this revelation about what the grace of God actually means, that He loves us in our absolute worst. Did you have any other big revelations about who God was? Some things that you maybe never clicked for you before? Did anything like that happen?
Yeah. So I also learned about perseverance, and that was something that stuck with me personally. And it was basically I learned that, we all will go through some traumatic experience in our life, maybe multiple, whether it's losing a loved one or losing your home in a natural disaster, whatever the case may be. But we should be prepared for those moments. And in those experiences, we should not be mad at God, but we should take those experiences and look to grow deeper in trusting Him, leaning on Him in those times of need, and that ultimately glorifying Him.
Yeah. Awesome. So Dan, you've talked about some of these conferences and Bible studies that you've been a part of, and you've learned a lot about who God is, how God views you. So now just tell all of us a little bit about what your life is like now, having gone through a sort of transformation. Can you just talk a little bit about kind of what's going on in your life right now?
Yeah, so I've been not a big part, I have a small leadership role in the Harbor alongside you, just helping out wherever I can, and just I attend mainly just to learn more. That's the main reason why I still go. But that, and I volunteer some time with the Penn College wrestling team that I was previously on, coaching, and I try to reach out to them, invite them and other athletes on campus to places like the Harbor or other on-campus ministries that might fit for them. And I also am part of a small men's group that we call the Fight Club. It's been a big part of my life, and we meet every week, and we just open up to each other and just learn together, grow together, and just be there for one another. So it's really cool.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Dan. So it's just really cool to hear your story about what God has done in your life and what God has continued to do in your life. So thanks for sharing. Can we say thanks to Dan? Awesome.